Thanks again for joining us for another Discovery series with SolarWinds. I'm Technical Content Manager for Community, Kevin Sparenberg, and I'm joined again with Leon Adato.
Hello again.
So in the discussion, not hype, but we're kind of hyper-focusing on cloud.
Yes.
And I think we're losing some things.
Yeah, we're missing the point that cloud hasn't completely taken over our lives yet.
Yeah.
Yet.
Yes, yet. But, and the thing with that is there's a lot of applications haven't really changed. Like the ones that you think about, databases still exist. You still got authentication schemas. You've got all these things. They don't change regardless of where they live.
Right.
They're still doing the same job for your organization.
Yeah, there's still email. It's running software as a service, SaaS, but it's still email. It's still SharePoint. It's still whatever those tools are.
Yeah.
And I think that's the other point that I think gets lost sometimes is that organizations aren't just multi-cloud. They're hybrid IT multi-cloud. There's things on-prem, there's things up in the cloud in multiple different areas, and they're all interacting together. And the problem is I think a lot of monitoring and management vendors have really not grokked that.
Yeah. There's I'm all on-prem.
Right.
I am all in cloud.
Right.
There's very little with I'm in between and I'm in between with multiple cloud providers.
Right.
There's those two that don't 100% intersect, and being able to see all of that and understand where resources are running, how applications are performing, understanding how your AD is behaving or your SharePoint is working in a hybrid infrastructure, understanding, whatever that is, wherever that is, if your end users need to interact with it, you got to make sure it's available.
Right. There's some statistics that support this.
Yeah. So I want to get these right, so I'm going to read them direct. So 51% of companies think that their cloud providers as a portfolio needs to be managed as a whole.
Yep.
Okay. Makes sense, right?
Sure, right.
35% of IT pros say vendors have done a poor job in adding cloud monitoring support to tools.
Right. The tools that they have or the tools that they're evaluating.
Yeah. Okay, got it. And 28% say that there is no roadmap for such capabilities.
It's one thing for a vendor to say, we're not there. It's another thing to say, we don't know where we're going.
Yeah.
Or we're not going there.
Yeah, or no, we're happy where we are.
Right.
And so that's kind of interesting, understanding where those vendors' ideas are and understanding how that impacts you and where you need to make your decision.
And this isn't just a indictment of the olds.
No, absolutely
right?
not.
It's not the IT version of OK Boomer.
No.
It's not saying like all the on-prem vendors haven't expanded the cloud. The cloud vendors are also very slow or not considering the fact that on-prem still exists. And that can be very challenging for IT folks who are working right now today dealing with their problems.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean it has to be that way. And actually, I'd like to show what it might look like in that hybrid model.
Okay.
Okay, so what I have here is a sort of traditional look at on-prem monitoring applications, right? We have some Apache stuff and DNS and blah, 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 and Office. Now, there's O365 that is in here, is being monitored as a regular application. What we talked about is the known unknowns. I know how this application works. Something might break. I know what might break. I just don't know when. Okay, fine. Down here, I've got SharePoint. Okay, so here's SharePoint, and I actually want to pick on this particular one because there's something special about where this SharePoint is working. It's actually running on a server in the cloud. Oh, yeah. Now, this isn't necessarily SharePoint as a service. It might be my SharePoint running on a server that I've put onto Azure for whatever reason. But what I'm able to see here is how the server, that server in Azure, is responding and running my application. So I can see how the directly attached storage is working. I can see what groups it's part of.
Oh, and it also pulls out your public and private IP addresses, all the stuff you need for your networking team if you've got to do troubleshooting on that side of the house.
Right, I can get configuration details, what exactly is this, and even some security information.
And there's the VM size, so you can report on that later.
Right. So I just wanted to point out that is, that's pulling that information as if it were a server on-prem, but it's aware, it's cognizant of the cloud information. But SharePoint is having a problem, whatever it is. Okay, I can see that the status right now is critical. Maybe not sure exactly how. But here I'm looking at the application and all the statistics. So I can see that, first of all, we're collecting a pretty good amount of stats. I can tell my services are up. I can tell what these statistics, whether they're perfmon counters or whatever they are, what they're reporting back, and that getting that data is coming back kind of snappy. And obviously, red is bad.
Red bad.
Always.
Always read bad.
So, I can tell that the volume, something's going on with the storage. Now, this is direct attached storage within I saw that in my Azure layout, but I can see that something's going on with the direct attached storage, and I would just troubleshoot from there.
Yeah.
But
so you've taken out the virtual machine layer, you've taken out potentially the SharePoint layer and its portions, and possibly because this is a web server, the web layer, and this is all a disk problem. So you've taken, I don't know, what's that, 4 or 5 different things, and you've said, no, just work on this.
Right, and also this view right here, I'm able to see specifically what is okay, what I affectionately call the MTTI, the mean time to innocence, right? Is how fast can I get to, wasn't me?
Yep.
Or, okay, and it's not just about bailing on the process, but it's about streamlining and optimizing my time in troubleshooting so that I know where to look and I'm not looking at the other things which would normally be on my troubleshooting checklist. If this was all on-prem, I would walk through these.
Yeah.
But I don't have to because I'm pulling this data and I'm showing it. But it's, again, that hybrid environment. It's a locally installed app of SharePoint in a cloud-based service with all those things with a VPN and all that, and I can eliminate a lot of those question marks that are there.
Yeah. And actually get to what the real problem is. So the beauty of that is this works the same for pretty much any of these known software packages, and you can also build your own.
Yes.
Like if you didn't have one of these metrics, you could just add another one and find it.
Right.
So that's fantastic. Now we're going to talk about this in other videos. We're going to talk about this. We've got Gorilla Guides, we've got the SolarWinds Lab, we've got all kinds of things. So stay tuned for more.